Good evening, dear Sadhaks. A very warm welcome to all of you. Okay, let's pray together. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrutyorma amrutam gamaya sahana bhavatu sahanau bhunaktu saha viryam karavavahai tejasvinavadhetamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. O Lord the Almighty, we offer our deepest prayers and salutations to seek your love, to seek your grace, your compassion, your mercy, your forgiveness, your strength, and your light and direction in life. Our salutations and gratitude to the entire Guru Parampara. Om Tat Sat.
स्वागतं कृष्णा शरणागतं कृष्णा स्वागतं कृष्णा शरणागतं कृष्णा मधुरापुरि सदना मृदुवदना मधुसूदन.
So today we are on the 10th of July 2020. Our Divine Discourse number 83, Sharvarinam Samvatsar, Dakshinayan, Grishma Rutu, Ashadh Mas, Krishna Paksh, Panchami. On this auspicious occasion, on this Friday evening, Hari Preranaya Hari Prityartham, we offer all our actions for the love and devotion of the Lord, and we seek His blessings to make this life a divine life worth living and eventually reaching His lotus feet. Om Tat Sat. So we have been studying the summary of chapter 5 and essentially some very important verses much more in detail, which are about the characteristics of a realized master or a realized soul. Now in verse 20, the basic and the first characteristic what we were able to understand was Sthira Buddhir Sammodho. Means here a jnani is never elated during the times of joy, and in the same way he is not disturbed at times of sorrow. So Sthira Buddhir, in both the situations he has an equipoised mind. This was one of the first characteristics which we learned. And as I mentioned, this is not difficult. When you are able to control that elation of your mind during times of happiness, you will be able to control the depression in your mind during the times of sorrow. This is just that reverse formula what you have to use over here, and you will get it. My personal experience, I was trying when you're sorrowful to raise yourself, it doesn't happen. So when we try the other way, when you are happy, don't get too happy. You tell your mind very clearly, in some more time you will be sad again. Why are you jumping now? It's like when joy comes in, sorrow is waiting at the door. And when sorrow comes in, don't get too sad. Joy is just waiting at the door. So they come alternatively. So if you practice this, so slowly you will get that Sthira Buddhir. You will get that equipoised mind. Then in the next verse 21, Lord Shri Krishna talks about the Bahya Sparsheshva Saktatma. Bahya Sparsheshva Saktatma means this person bahya, outside objects, persons, situations, nothing disturbs him. He is completely in himself. There is complete disinterest towards the things of the world. He says, I have enjoyed enough. I know that they don't carry any ephemeral value or a long-lasting value. They are there for some time, and they also cause their due amount of damage to your mind and body, and they leave. So I don't want to be in the company of such situations anymore. So here also he has that kind of a disinterest towards such things. And then comes in the verse 22 he says, samsparshaja, meaning any desire which arises out of the contact of your senses. For such things he has developed a decent amount of control over the senses, and because in the previous verse he also has disinterest towards the outside world, his senses no more trouble him anymore. Otherwise what happens? Constantly his senses are troubling, his mind is troubling, and it's pulling him or her always to the outer world. Unless and until you enjoy that object or that person, you are not satisfied. So here, these are the three qualities which we understood of a jnani, a yogi, a siddha, a realized person. Now, let's move forward to verse number 23. Now here, the Lord talks about the definition of a sukhi. Sukhi means a happy person, a yogi, and a realized human being. He talks about that. He says, there is a current or there is a force in the mind of every jiva which generates enormous amount of kama and krodha. Kama is desire. Desire unfulfilled results in krodha. So these two things, they go along with each other. Kama and krodha. So he says, one who is able to resist till the fall of the body, he talks to that extent. Even at the fag end, your sadhana has to be geared up, your sadhana has to improve. But during such time, if there you lose control of your senses and you fall a prey to something which is not really good for you, you will lose on your health and you will also lose on your meditation, focus and concentration. So the one who has mastered these desires and angers, and he calls them like they are like those flash floods, tornadoes, avalanches. Such is the nature of this desire. And a person who is angry, the intensity of the anger depends on the extent of the desire one had. The more the desire somebody had, the more the angry he gets when it is unfulfilled. So he says these are like these kind of terrible havocs. A true jnani is one who is completely rooted out of these vasanas. Now we know very clearly where these vasanas are. How did they come? He has rooted out of them. That tumult of anger and that gush of desire have no effect on him, because he has completely mastered and controlled his senses. And he says, such a person who has mastered his desire and anger is a true human being or a true yogi. These two are primarily important. If you have mastered these, you are good to go to any extent on the path of spirituality. You will be going like at God's speed. Otherwise, these are your own speed breakers created by you. Every point of time you will have to again sit down, again talk to your mind, again talk to your senses, keep convincing them, and again move a little forward, and again sit down. But if you have got these under control, you are going at top speed in your fifth gear. Rest. What is the meaning or value of other people who do not live like this, let's say? So the Lord says, they are just like animals. He clearly said, they are just like animals. Ahar, nidra, that's all. Eat, sleep, procreate. That's all they can do in life. They are just a victim of their senses. Wherever the mind tells, let's go and enjoy this, they'll go. They have no understanding of what their true self is, what God is, what this world is, who has created this, how this whole thing has come into being. Is there something higher than what we know? They have no idea. Even if somebody tries to tell them, Arey Baba, there is something like this, why don't you understand? Because the first stage is Shravana, isn't it? Listen and then understand, and thereafter practice. But they are not ready to listen at all. So he says, I pity such lives. They are a sheer waste of no use. And then he continues to explain what is the nature of such a Sukhi, Yogi and Jnani. He says, for such a person, the joy is inside. His delight is inside. Inside meaning is Swatmana. Swa Atma Swatmana. Within himself. Whose vision is inside. Meaning what you see, what you know, you delight in it. That's it. He revels and he knows exactly what is that true joy. He revels within and within. He is known as an Atmarati. Atmarati. He is reveling in his own Atman. He is playing within. With whom? With his own Atman. Atma Krida. Such a yogi, a sannyasi, a jnani, being in that divine power which is inside Brahman, he gets lost in Brahman. It's very deep. He just gets lost. And for that, he doesn't have to go anywhere, pay any money, buy any ticket, spend on something else, nothing. Just sit down, close your eyes and feel the power within. He gets lost in that Brahman. He becomes one with that Brahman. So for such a Jivan Mukta, a Jnani, there is happiness inside, delight inside, and a complete vision inside. See, if you look at the lives of these great sages and yogis, they have lived their life that way, isn't it? Now what they are talking in the Bhagavad Gita, which was told 5,000 years ago, and we are seeing so many sages even now, they don't want anything else. You go and give them a big basket of fruits, they'll just distribute it to everybody. So what will I do with this? They'll unnecessarily get spoiled here. They don't keep anything, they don't own anything, they don't have a desire for anything from this world. They know that this world can give me nothing or hardly anything when compared to the joy and happiness I am getting when I revel in and within myself. Say, when we all do meditation, you really don't want to open your eyes, isn't it? Said, why? Good if it was going to be prolonged a little more. As you find happiness within yourself, you will not want to come out of it. That itself is a proof that there is peace, contentment, happiness, that bliss within. You have already had a taste of it. And what happens? The more and more you practice, then slowly you will see that you are being able to get established in that. And this is all a mind game. Now our mind, as far as we are tuned it to the outside world, it always keeps running behind the world. Now when you change the direction and you come within, what happens? The mind has got an understanding, which everybody doesn't know. Even if they know, they don't understand. Even if they understand, it doesn't get into their head or stay there. It will, the next moment it is gone. Everybody knows. In every third WhatsApp message you will see, find that happiness within and within. Everybody says that. Not that only we are knowing it. But who sits for meditation and tries to tap that? So now, the Lord Krishna, he further moves ahead and he says, such Jnana Sadhan, means such Rishis, who have had the taste of the Tattva Darshana. Tattva Darshana means the vision of the Supreme Truth. How? Samyak Darshana. In a very perfect manner they have had the vision of that Supreme Truth, which is deep within you, which has enveloped the entire cosmos. That consciousness, which now even the scientists have been talking about it. So this is that supreme power. And he says, these rishis have had a clear understanding of this fact. How? How did they get to this point? Krishna, I want to know this, because I also want to go there. If somebody has become rich, let's say, whom we know, and he was not that great about 5 or 10 years ago. Suddenly we see him, this fellow is driving a luxury car. He has constructed a big bungalow for himself. and his lifestyle has changed. So naturally he has become rich. And then we understand he owns a few companies. So now what happens? Other businessmen, they will all try to understand what is that he's doing. Do you know what business he's doing? How did he go to that stage? So here, if we want to become that Rishi, that Jnani, or a Jivan Mukta, realized soul, so here he says, how did he become a Rishi? Kshina Kalmashaha. What has he done? All the negative vasanas, the tendencies which he had within him, they have been destroyed. Completely decayed, destroyed. Now that is what exactly we are doing by our sadhana now. Everybody has been on a high profile orientation of sadhana. Vishnu Sahasranam, Prajnanam Brahma, Mahamrityunjay Jap. All this is to cleanse the negative vasanas within us. Second, Chinnadvaidha. Chinnadvaidha means who is not stuck on the horns of a dilemma. Which means his doubts are completely cleared. He does not have a wee bit of doubt on what the supreme knowledge is. He is slowly understanding and percolating that knowledge deep within. If he has a doubt, he will ask. He'll clarify the doubt. But he will not live with a doubt. And the third one, the Lord says, Yat Atmanaha, meaning who has mastered his senses. Finally, it comes to that only. What is disturbing us? Our mind and senses. How? Desires. After that, anger. After that, jealousy. After that, pride. After that, delusion. These are all the Shadripos. They come one after the other. Like you have a 7-course meal, isn't it? You don't have to ask for what is going to come next. It will come. Because you have ordered for a 7-course meal. From the soup, from the starters, you will start getting salads and this and this and this. Till the dessert, you will keep getting everything. In the same way, once you have weak senses and a weak mind, you will have all the rest coming one after the other. And the fourth quality, what the Lord talks about is Sarva Bhuta Hitorataha. Sarva Bhuta Hitorataha means this person, he is happy or he is reveling in the welfare of others. Talk of a common person. What is his interest? He will always look at people and see where I can get something from him. If he is a very highly influential person, you will talk to him very well. Why? You want to develop a rapport with him, so that tomorrow you need any influence anywhere, he is there for you. If he is a moneyed person, yes, be good to him. I may need money at some point. I can approach him. Always you're looking out as to what I can get from everybody around me. But this Jnani, a yogi, he is reveling in the welfare of others. He does not look at what he will get because he doesn't want anything. What he wants is already there within him, deep inside. See, everybody has an appetite for everything. Be it food, be it sleep, be it enjoyment, even happiness also. Now, when you have that deep sense of happiness within, and you have experienced so much, you will not look for anything more. If you want, you will again, like as you go, open the fridge and you take whatever you want. You want a cake, you want chocolates, you want some fruit, you want a drink, everything is there in the fridge. So he says, everything is within me. I don't have to go outside. So he is constantly thinking of the welfare of others. Such a person who has these four qualities, he becomes a jnani and he obtains moksha. He obtains moksha then and there, not till the death of this body. He has already completely surrendered himself. He knows what his true self is. His body and mind are a witness to him. Just like we see him, he also sees himself on the same lines. That is the state of such people. So here, Oliver Wendell Holmes, he has said very beautifully, the mind once expanded to the dimension of the new ideas never returns to its original size. Meaning what? Now what we are studying, these are all new dimensions in our life. We have to expand our mind, allow it to expand. Go to that new dimension, something new we are understanding. What is this? What is this Jivan Mukta? You are talking of happiness within. He doesn't want anything from outside. How did he achieve this? These are all those new dimensions which we are learning. So he says, allow your mind to expand. Let it expand. Because the nature of the mind also is, when it has got to understand these new ideas, it will never return to its original size. Its original size meaning it will not become that shrunken mind. So, in other words, always think of growth with this spiritual knowledge. If you don't think, mind will shrink. If you are only addicted to pleasures, sensual pleasures, the mind will start sinking and stinking with all the wrong things. Because as they also say, the biggest impediment to tomorrow's growth is today's accomplishment. Don't be contented, complacent with spiritual growth. Rest of the thing, be completely complacent. Complete contentment is required in other things of the world. But when it comes to spiritual growth, you are fueling that fire again and again. I want to move ahead. I want to move ahead. Because we should always understand one thing in life. You don't become what you want. You become what you believe. Believe in yourself. If somebody has done it, those sages have done it, I too can do it. Now that I've gotten access to this knowledge, I have started understanding this. Whatever amount of time I have in my life, I have had enough of the world and I know what the world gives. eventually little joy and a huge amount of sorrow. We know this. Having known this, gear up. Take hold of the reins of the senses and the mind in your control and start galloping with high speed towards the divine goal. You know where to reach, you know how to reach. That much we have learned now. Lord Krishna has told us. What is important is we have to start working. Like the first one, negative vasanas to be destroyed. Do your japa as much as you can, keep doing. Any doubts you have, clarify to the core. Don't keep it. Master your senses, the third one. And fourth one, look at what you can do for others. Don't think too much about yourself. The moment you start thinking of the welfare of others, your life completely changes 360 degree. Because you get happiness only when you give happiness. That is the secret of happiness. Now we have covered up to verse 25. Now there are another 3-4 verses, that's all. We have up to verse 29. Okay, so we'll take up these 3 verses tomorrow. And if you all have any doubts, please post it on the group. I'll take it up in the class. Our deepest gratitude and salutations to the Lord and the Guru Parampara for having blessed us with this divine knowledge and for leading us in the right direction towards salvation. Om Tat Sat. Thank you everybody for being a part of this wonderful journey. Have a pleasant evening and we look forward to see you all tomorrow. Om Tat Sat.